This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone, wherever you are tuning. Thank you again for tuning to another segment of INC Radio New York. My name is Brother Lance Marinas, your host for today's episode. With me on today's Brother Christian Rockapour, and we also have Sister Esther Barasa Garrison, who is a pro runner. And our topic for today, which is how to start running a beginner's guide. Start running a routine can feel intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. In today's episode, we break down the must-know tips for new runners and how to start running without burning out, what gear you really need, how to avoid injuries, and simple strategies to stay motivated, whether you're aiming for your first mile or your first 5K. And this episode will help you run smarter, not harder. So, Brother Christian, how are you doing today, Brother Christian?
I'm glad you said at the S was the pro runner because I am no pro runner here. I'm doing good. It's a little gloomy, a little overcast today in New York City, but so far so good. How about you, Lance?
Yes, it's actually sunny here for once in Rochester, so it's nice to see that there is sun coming out. I believe we will be getting rain in the next few days, so I'm trying to enjoy as much sun as we have. Atias, how about you? How is the weather out there in Rockland area?
Here at Valley Cottage in Rockland, it's a little gloomy as well. But hi everyone. Disclaimer: I don't want to be tagged or called as a professional runner. Fitness enthusiast, yes. But yes, I do have some tips with running, and that's it.
So, Atias, let's go dive into our main topic. What is the best running shoes without breaking the bank?
Okay, that's a good question. But before we talk about that, I mean, running. I know you guys keep saying it's intimidating, but it shouldn't be. It's if you can walk, you can eventually jog, and then you can eventually run, right? Another thing to think about is it's a physical activity, so you have to prepare your entire being, your entire body, mentally and emotionally. You have to take the time to plan out, the how long do you want to run for. If you just want to walk maybe for 10 minutes and gradually do a jog and then a run. There's a lot of things to think about. Gear-wise, what you're wearing for that day, it's warmer now. So, try not to wear any like cotton material that's going to stick to your body as you sweat. Loose clothing as much as possible. And of course, like you asked me right now, shoes. Shoes could be tricky. You have, from my experience, I suggest go to a running store. And I'm not saying go to DSW or something like that. Go to a proper running store if you really want to be serious about this. And it's not about breaking bank. It's not about finding the most expensive shoes. It's not about because you saw a famous runner, a famous basketball star, a famous actor wearing that particular shoes and you're going to get that. No, cater to what your feet and what your body would feel best when you're running on the treadmill or when you're running the pavement. Very important to think about. You are investing on your physical your fitness and your body. So it's not about finding the most expensive, but it's finding good quality pair of running shoes. That's my take on it. And again, it may, some of them might be on the expensive side, but you are investing on your own body.
That's very correct. I know ATS because I know there's a running shoe store down here, and they let you try it on. Is
Yeah.
that a thing also in your city area? Where
Yes,
you
there's plenty in New York City. When I used to run in my running days, I would go to Jackrabbit. That's the store that I would always go to. So they will let you try multiple pair of shoes, and they'll let you even try it on the treadmill. So they'll watch your gait, your pace, the way your feet will falls on the treadmill. They will help and guide you pick the right shoes for you. You don't get that kind of I guess guidance when you go to a
like a
different,
like a
like
regular
not
brick and mortar
a
shoe.
non-running store. Yeah, yeah.
And ATS with like running shoes, do you buy shoes that's like exact size, or do you tend to buy slightly larger just to give your
Oh my, yes, I've learned my lesson in that one. Yes, I've purchased one that's just right, exact for my tiny size 5 feet, and yes, I paid for that. So lesson learned. Next time, there's make sure there's room because your feet will swell, especially as you're building the mileage, the distance, the time that you're running, your feet will swell. So yeah, make sure there's a little bit of room there.
yeah, that's. But Christian, anything to add before?
Hey man, I'm so I've recently also gotten into running as well. I've been running for like the past, let's say, year now, about almost a year. So all thanks to my local congregation because a lot of people from it didn't
Yay.
run. So being able to just try, I only did it to try something new, and then I ended up falling in love with it. And I noticed how much running actually helps me in other sports like volleyball. So
Exactly.
really, my stamina and my endurance has really been pushed to its limits, but in a good way because I'm building up that endurance as well in the other sports that I play. So if like at the Esther said, if it's something that you should not be afraid of trying because and it shouldn't be intimidating to try anyway because you don't have to love it, you don't have to really fall in love with it right away. It takes time, but at some point you just try something new is always a good thing. So
I mean, to be honest with you, I hate running. I really do. Every time I do it, I hate it running. But what I do love is the challenge, because especially when you're starting. Let's say you're just walking, and then eventually turn that into a jog, and then eventually turn that into running. I'll see a tree or a stop sign. I just need to get to that stop sign. Once I get to that stop sign, I'll stop, and I do, right, and I feel great. Like, great, that's a great accomplishment. Okay, let's keep going. Let's just run up until I catch up with that. Let's say I'm in a park with that woman that's walking. If I can catch up to her, if I can just catch up to her, and boom, I catch up to her. And again, it's another accomplishment. So little by little, you don't have to go really all for broke, like literally couch to a 5K, because that's going to drive you crazy, and that your body will feel sore. You have to take things one step at a time. It's a gradual I guess way to fully enjoy what running is about. Again, there's a lot. Like I mentioned to you, 30 minutes won't be enough to talk about the numerous benefits, just physically alone, of running, but emotionally and mentally, when you do those mental challenges, when you're if you're feeling tired, or sometimes, let's say someone got you upset at work, take it out on that run. Like I used to do that revenge run, and it just makes you feel so good to be able to let go of frustrations. And again, you've accomplished something, and you've you've added your exercise into your day.
Yeah, I do agree with the whole trying to run. Like it for me, I also did running because it helps with mental health. So really like after a run you feel good, like to be able to just release all of that stuff, that
Right.
energy, that
Mhm,
stuff that's been bothering you the whole day. And then no
mhm,
matter how busy you were with either work or school,
mhm.
for me running just helps with just relieving all of that. So something to try if you're looking to do a little de-stress. Um,
Exactly.
Atas, you mentioned something about trying just going for it, right? So for how would what advice would you give to someone who's trying to run their first 5K? Or like just trying to get into running, like what advice would you give to them on how to build a sustainable running routine?
If you're really, if you're really serious about it, I ran with a group, with a running group. You get so many great advices and tips when you're running with a group. You share a common interest. Um, and if you eventually want to get a coach to set up a plan for you, it's usually a 5K. Usually, it depends on if you really want to race. Set up a goal or a plan. That way, like every week, you're doing something to get to that 5K. Um, that's how I started. Um, but yeah, you need to plan. You need to plan accordingly. You can't just go, "Oh, let's do this." Because again, I'm going to use investment a lot on this. People that invest, right? You invest money and you see it grow. The best ROI is yourself. You need to invest the time, which means what? You need to plan out. Okay, next week I'm going to try and hit, like, I don't know, just run maybe twice a week, and then eventually grow from there. And when I'm saying running just twice a week, even if you're just a starter, okay, let's try at least 15 minutes of eventual walk, jog to a run. And then from there, once you put a checklist on that, increase on that, make it 20 minutes, make it 30 minutes. While you're in running mode, let's say you're always stopping and starting, like walk to eventually a jog. It's fine. It's understandable. You're not going to go all the way through without stopping. Make it like, okay, next time I'm going to try and not stop for the next 20 seconds. I'm just going to keep going and then take a break. Just take it easy, be easy on yourself, and never ever cancel on yourself. As you make those plans, don't cancel on yourself. You hate canceling on other people, on your friends, canceling on work. Never ever cancel on yourself. When you set that plan, do it.
Yeah, that. I think as what are the like common beginner mistakes? Like especially if you're getting into 5K. I know a lot of people if they're starting from like being a couch potato or just starting to not just starting to get into running. Often like especially if they're not like well versed into running, they just straight up sprint like the first like 100 meters
Mhm,
and they run out
mhm,
of energy.
mhm.
What are other common?
Netherlands, you didn't have to call me out like that, yo.
No, I'm also a couch potato.
Well, that's when pacing comes to play. Like you can't just go on emotion on like when you're at that beginner, like the start line, and you're feeling all the feels. You're so excited. You can't give it out all the way, because halfway or not even halfway through it, you will get tired, and then you won't like the rest of that journey of that 5K. So start nice and slow, build up to it, and then once you're close to that 5K, give it all out.
Yeah, definitely.
Like go for broke. Once you're very close to the finish line, go for it.
Yeah. Uh,
Break that tape.
yeah. Also, like, I know because like when I used to do track and field, it was if you run by yourself, it's kind of boring. But if you have a couple of friends with you and
Hmm.
you're talking to them at the same time,
Hmm.
it's kind of like having a conversation while running,
Yeah.
and it makes it funner.
It makes it fun, and it's actually a good way of checking how well you're running, because you should be able to have a conversation while you're running. If you can carry a conversation, then you're at a good pace. When I mean pace, you're running at a good speed. If you find yourself like catching your breath and can't carry a conversation, then you're going way too fast. So yes, running with a group, with your friend makes it beneficial that way. But running solo is also good because it develops discipline.
Mm,
Yeah.
good point at the ass.
I like running by myself as well because I like to, again, give myself those mental challenges. That way I don't always rely on other things, on other people. One more thing, like I know a lot of people like to run with music. Again, it catered to what would help you during at that time. But once in a while, take the pods out. Just run, even like with your watches. Sometimes you can just run with your feeling. See how your body feels, and again with the music, just try enjoy sound of nature, the sound of your footsteps, how you're breathing.
And what about recovery? Yeah, like in terms of like you get into your 5K or you're starting to get into running 5K. How do you recover in like after you run? What are like some tips in terms of like getting your muscles better or handling more distance in the longer terms?
Well, actually, we skipped the part. So once you're done, and then you talked about like cooling down. Before that, rewind. You have to do a dynamic warm up. When I mean dynamic warm up, it's not just like, oh, you're here and you're just gonna stretch. I mean, it's dynamic. You have to get the body moving. Think about it this way. We have to let the fluids in your body flow in your entire system. So move a little bit, jog for maybe a minute or two. Once you start feeling warm, then you can do some more dynamic warm up, dynamic stretching. That's going to help you prevent injuries. And once you're running, you're done with it. Same thing, cool down. Now that your entire body is warm, you can do a little bit more of the static, or you're standing and stretching. You're stretching your hamstrings or quads. Very important. Again, with any workout, you have to warm up so you don't get injured while you're doing whatever fitness activity you're doing, and then you have to cool down. Nutrition wise, actually while you're running or before that, there's the water component. It is hot now, so you should if you do want to start running now, I'll ask you guys, when should you hydrate? If you plan to run tomorrow or like today, when should you hydrate?
Before?
Like this morning?
Maybe the night before?
Exactly that. Yes. If you want to run today, right? That's why planning is key. We go back to plan. If you want to run today, you should have hydrated yesterday. If you're going to hydrate this morning, it may be a little too late, especially with the temperatures that we have. You always have to hydrate the night before, the day before. Water, salad, watermelon, all those water dense food. Try to get that in your system the day before so your body has all of that to fall back on.
That's a very good point at the S. And how do you track your progress without obsessing over numbers at the S also? I know people get so obsessed with buying a bunch of smartwatches and all of these kinds of different apps that gets paid for.
I know. But it has its advantage and disadvantages. Again, if you're serious, tracking is important to see your progress, right? But once you obsess with that, oh, I didn't get that 0.1, oh, I missed on that 5 seconds, that's when you calm down, lose the gadgets, and that's when I mentioned, like, just run and go for the feel of it. That way you'll get that joy back and not so much the obsessive part of it, like tracking so much of the mileage all the time. Can I just say one thing? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like I mentioned to you before, I used to run a lot, and Brother Christian mentioned about running with some brethren, right? And I just want to, because some of the tips that I've been saying here, I wouldn't have learned them if it weren't for these brethren, these sisters that have helped me with my running journey, especially Sister Laura Lynn Carilla, I think Laura Lynn from Bronx. If you know her, if you're a running brother or sister, and if you know Ate Laura Lynn, then you know what I'm talking about. She runs marathons just like that. Every year she runs the NYC Marathon. She is actually running a race today. I wanted to get her on board, but she's like, I'm running. Of course you're running. Also, Sister Ariane Flores. They both help. They're both from Bronx. They both hold such important offices, but they still find the time. And seriously, like props to them. I learned so much from them when we used to train for marathons. Also, another sister, and again, if you're a runner, you should know her name, Sister Jamie Dorado Valdez, or Sister JL, as we love to call her, from Manhattan. She's performing today, that's why she couldn't be on board. But again, if you've been running and you ran with these sisters, you know what I'm talking about. I am so grateful for everything that they have taught me, and for the runner that I certified that I still am. But anyway, yeah, props to them. They shared so many tips for me to share with whoever wants to take up running. We've already talked about it, but I'll just go through real quick. This is just a summary of what they've said. Plan accordingly. Like I said, don't cancel on yourself. Find good shoes. We've said that. Once running, run at a conversational pace. Start slow, then gradually build speed and distance. Take it easy. Take mental notes when you're already running. Listen to your body. And this is from all of them, from all of us. Run happy, run grateful. Running is not for everyone, and it truly is a privilege. So never take it for granted. Enjoy it as much as it's painful, is what other people say. Really enjoy every step, every moment. When you're outside, when you're running by yourself, when you're running with people around you, it is a gift. And of course, more importantly, we thank the Almighty God for giving us this ability to do this to our bodies, to help us be better brothers, sisters, husband, wife, friend, sister, to everyone.
Yes, thank you so much, Atias, for all those tips. And I hope all the viewers and listeners will hopefully start to get into running, especially now that we're in the summer months. So thank you again for those lovely advices, Atias. Hopefully more people will be inspired to start running today, especially we have a nice weather now and starting to get into a warmer weather. So but before we continue and close out our show, we do have a couple of CFO activities that's happening. Or Atias, before we do close out, do you have any other shout outs and greetings apart from those?
Apart from those three lovely sisters, of course, shout out to my locale, Rockland. And to anyone who wants to take up running, just go for it.
Yes, thank you so much, Atias. And then our New York activities we have on June 7th, CFO Fun Run starts and run every week, and I believe that's today. And June 15th, there is CWS Tagisan and Talina, or Battle of the Brains, translated. And on June 21, there is a Niagara Falls Walk, or a Niagara Falls Nature Walk. So for all the brethren in our district, you are more than welcome to come to upstate New York. I know it's a little bit far, but do come up here. We are having lovely weather up here. So it'll be a nice way to see all the brethren in our district in Niagara Falls. So it should be exciting. I haven't been there since maybe I think 2016 is the last time I've been to Niagara Falls. So for everyone, it might be your first time or it might be your third, second, fourth time, but Niagara Falls is still a lovely place to go to. Is it still considered one of the 7 wonders of the world?
I'm sure it is.
Apart from that, we do have a couple of shout outs and greetings. I saw Kuya Mike Bernal said that he used to run a lot, especially on Fridays when the what did he say? I ran a lot in high school, especially on Fridays as soon as the bell rings. So for all those runners, I know So continue to do that. Brother Sheridan Santos said, "Let's enjoy the run or the walk." And then other greetings that we have here is good noon to our brother from Brother Pastor Palacio. Good noon po to our district minister. Sister Melissa Bernal said, "Go, Sister Esther." Hashtag Belmore. I'm trying to see if there's more. There's a lot more, but we don't have enough time to do so. Brother Christian, why don't you start closing us out? Brother Christian, go ahead. You're muted if you are trying to close out. And the lovely technology of unmuting and muting.
At least you froze smiling.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brother Christian.
Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my laptop right now. I think it's freezing. It's lagging, but again, on the topic of running, continue. Just if you want to try something new, definitely get into running. And Shadows, who is also a choir lead, we've done all six of them already, the big ones. So definitely, if you need tips from him, ask him. But thank you so much for tuning in for today's show, and we hope that you learned a little something about running and hope that you get into it. And thank you so much to the church administration for giving us a platform to share and speak about important and interesting topics like these. Don't forget to catch us again next week, next Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's Sunday, 11:30 p.m. Philippine time.
And greetings to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo B. Manalo, and praises to our Almighty God for appointing our current Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Iranio Manalo, and also greetings to our station, INC Radio Station Manager, Brother Wally Taray, and our Executive Producer, Kuya Manly Andaya, and especially to our District Minister, Brother Sheridan Santos, to our Assistant District Minister, Brother Neil Patrick Almeida, and to our CFO Advisor, Brother Jason Flores, and to our District Multimedia Advisor, Brother Christopher Ornedo. And this brings us to the end of our show today. Have a good day, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone.